All right guys, so a little while back we did a home project where we put some product from Lowe's called SMARTCORE Ultra in our bathroom. We actually wound up doing it in both our bathrooms. It's a little over a year later. I'm not too sure how long it is, but it's an awesome product. It's held up beautifully. Again, it's been in a bathroom, so a lot of water, you know, we have kids, and so getting out of the bathtub and such, it looks like brand new. So it is a phenomenal product. We're absolutely thrilled with it. So what we're doing is we're actually putting another application of the SMARTCORE line of products in our family room, but we're doing something a little bit different. So this right here, this is the SMARTCORE Ultra product. This is what we put in the bathroom, and I'll show you the bathroom in a second. This is, again, from Lowe's. This is the SMARTCORE Pro product. So really, there's no difference as far as the product itself, what it's made of, its thickness. There is one thing, a couple of obvious things that you can see. One of them is this has the backing built into it. This is the SMARTCORE Ultra product. It has the backing built onto it, as does the SMARTCORE Pro. So they're both, again, the same thickness, the same kind of padding. You don't have to put underlayment down on the floor. This one has some sort of perforations or little holes. I don't necessarily know why. This one doesn't, but they both, however, have texture to them, so they're a little grippy, so they're not gonna slip. So apart from that, you have the obvious aspect of being able to see that, you know, this one is substantially thicker. I'll actually put this on the ground and we'll measure it out in a second. But this one's much thicker, but from a distance standpoint, they're the exact same length. So nothing different as far as that is concerned. And again, in the previous video that I put out there, I grabbed a bunch of other samples of, what is this called? Vinyl flooring. And you could see whenever you held them out straight that they really bowed. And I don't necessarily know what that means, but to me it's a bit of a sign of quality of the product. So you can see, again, this is the SMARTCORE Ultra product. I'm holding it at the far end, and there's not really much of a bow considering how thin this product is, okay? Now let's look at again, that was a SMARTCORE Ultra. So this is the SMARTCORE Pro. Same length, but again, wider. So it's carrying more weight, but still there's not really a tremendous bow to it. And you can tell, you can feel it. It's a hefty piece. Whenever I'm bringing these things up from the basement, they certainly are solid. So let's have a look at these on the ground, side by side. All right, so we've got both products laid out on the ground. Again, this is the SMARTCORE Ultra, SMARTCORE Pro. So once again, you can see how they look just, you know, really similar, and the texture too is a similar texture where it's not just like an image of wood. It really does feel good like wood underfoot. So, all right, here is the SMARTCORE Ultra. Not measuring out the little tongue and groove area. This is about 5 7/8 inches wide, whereas the SMARTCORE Pro, and again, I'm not trying to measure the groove area, it's about 7 1/16. So a really good bit wider on the SMARTCORE Pro product. So let's go show you though what the SMARTCORE Ultra looks like up in our bathroom, and then we'll talk about how we're going to apply this in our family room. All right, so this is the SMARTCORE Ultra product that we put into the bathroom upstairs. Again, we also put, this is the kids' bathroom. We also put this into the bathroom in, you know, mine and my wife's bathroom. And once more, if you look closely at it, it's just held up really, really well. It looks like it is just the exact same as the day that we put it in. And you can see as far as the bathtub is concerned, I mean, if you look at the SMARTCORE advertisements, people are putting these things underwater for days and they're not warping. Well, you know, certainly sitting here next to the tub, we're not doing that, but there is plenty of water exposure. No problem at all. It's a phenomenal product. So because of that, like I said, we're putting it into our family room. And one of the reasons we're putting it in the family room, is because we're up in the Northeast, and so we have a lot of snow. We've got 3 dogs, we've got 2 kids, a lot of feet, a lot of paws coming in and out of there. A lot of rain during the summertime, but during the wintertime, a lot of snow. So it does see a lot of water exposure, and we're excited about the simple cleanup that this floor will afford in that area. So let's go talk about the application. All right, so here is the family room. So a couple of things I want to point out is, it's a pretty large room, but pretty square, should be nice and easy. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start in that corner over there. We're going to run the boards this direction. So just like how I've got these 2 laying on the ground. Again, that's the Ultra and that is the Pro. So we're going to be running this direction. And we should have about 22 boards that are going to be going from this side to this side to cover that span. And we do have a little gap right there, and that's going to be 23 boards that'll essentially take us out that direction. So again, this is the door to the outside. So like I said, there's a lot of foot traffic and paw traffic that comes in here carrying all sorts of stuff. Now you can see that we've got plywood down here. One of the nice things about this flooring is you don't have to take the underlayment or the underflooring apart. You don't have to do any of that stuff. We opted to do that just because we didn't like what was beneath here. Frankly, we just wanted to. So you don't have to do that. I pulled up laminate flooring in the bathrooms upstairs, and a lot of you guys commented, hey, you don't have to put it, rip up the laminate. You can just put this vinyl flooring on top of it. You're right. You're absolutely right. So you don't have to do what we've done. We just wanted to do that. All right, so let's talk for a second about cutting these pieces. Now, whenever I was doing this job upstairs with the SMARTCORE Ultra, I actually had my chop saw up there with me the whole time, and I had it over in the corner. I had my vacuum hooked up to it, and I was just cutting those pieces. Well, there is a simpler way to do that, and it doesn't kick up really any dust, and all it requires is just, one of these, just a blade. So I've been doing this here for a little bit, and man, it's so quick and easy, and I don't have to, chop and create dust and all that sort of business. So the way to do that is grab yourself some sort of a straight edge. Doesn't have to be one of these, but you do want a good straight cut. So let me get down there so you can see. So all you have to do whenever you find the length of the piece that you want is just, and this is a junk piece right here, you just set this down and then score yourself a piece. Obviously watch your thumb, make sure you don't push this thing off to the side as well. So I've got my score, so I can flip it over, and I'll just put my hand down there, and it breaks in a nice little sharp edge. I'll pull that all the way over, then I can take my blade and just finish doing that cut. And I've got what I consider to be a very straight edge, straight enough, especially considering it's going to be covered up by trim. So let me show you basically what it looks like to run a quick line. So what you need, by the way, I do highly recommend getting some knee pads. That'll really save your knees. So I'm going to run an entire row here, and I've got my piece cut down here. Now I did, after reading the instructions, which that's a novel concept, right? You do want to keep 5/16 spacing between this product and the wall is what they are recommending. But anyhow, whenever I bring this in, you want to bring it in at a pretty good high angle of attack, I think is what they say. And as opposed, you don't want to just slide it in like that, okay? You bring it in, and I'm just going to set it down right here. And it's really satisfying whenever you take your rubber mallet, get a couple whacks, you definitely can feel it popping in, and that is really nice. Now let me move the camera down. Okay, so now I've got a long piece here, and by the way, it does say, oh, broken end right there. That's okay. We'll use this as a piece to go against the wall. We'll set that aside. All right, so anyways, whenever you are going over a pretty good span, some of these pieces are colored differently, and so you don't want to just pull from one box and lay it out there. You want to grab 3 or 4 different boxes and mix pieces between these different boxes and kind of look at what you're laying down. So anyway, something to be cognizant of. Now, whenever I'm laying a longer piece, I'm going to bring it down all the way so that it's pretty much flush with this piece down here. And I'm going to put this groove underneath this row. Then I'm going to bring my piece that I've already kind of hammered in over here, and I just slide it into place. And then I gently put it down. Now you can see this piece is kind of bowed up because it's not locked into place just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push all this down. And what I like to do is start tapping on this side. I want to get this piece locked in first. That seems to be what works better for me. So I'm going to tap here. And you can kind of use your fingers and feel it starts to run flush. Now, it is better to tap from here to here because I was tapping this earlier and giving it some pretty good wax, and I actually broke a piece off. So go from this side to you. Right? Now, this actually looked like this is laid down pretty well, but I'm still going to give it a couple of good pats with my rubber mallet. Probably hitting it way more than necessary. And then you just repeat that process for your entire run. And then I'm going to show you how I like to cut the end piece without having to do any measuring. So I'll run this row, and then I'll get down there and show you that trick. Okay, so here we are. We've got a piece now at the end of our 3rd row, and it's I'm going to have a pretty long piece here that's good. So you can see I need to cut off about this much. Now there's one way of doing that, it's the hard way, and that is I can go and measure the appropriate distance, and this is 45 and 7/8 of an inch, and so I can then try to measure that. Of course, pain in the butt too that you get your measuring tape stuck, so I could do that. Or one of the things that I can do, so I've got the piece oriented in the way that it would go in now. So what I can do is flip this over. All right, so now I've got the end, the tongue that will actually go under this piece, and so this will go against the wall, and so I can see how much space I need to cut off. Let me grab my square. So what I can do, just grab my square and go up right along, and again, I've got this pushed all the way against the wall, so I do want to give it a little bit extra space. So I just take my square, put it over here. I want to make my cut, being very careful. Flip my piece over, pop, cut the backing, and without measuring, I have what is a perfect fit. This will save you a ton of time. Where it can certainly take a beating.